Hello, my name is Miata Moore, and this is a tutorial on how to use Storybird. Storybird can be found at storybird.com. This resource allows you to use technology to create books or comics or poetry. The first thing that we're going to have that you need to do before you can use Storybird is to create an online account. Once you have created your online account, you will be able to have access to numerous resources. So the first thing that we're going to focus on is actually creating a book and publishing it. So I'm going to take you through the steps of how to create a book and to publish it. This is very useful for educators because as a teacher, you could create a book that's going with the standard that you're focusing on, and you can share it with students so that they can read it. The first thing that you need to do is go to the tab up at the very top that says Write. Click on it. When you do this, up at the very top, you're going to see your options for what type of text you want to create. We can create a picture book, a long form story, comics, flash fiction, poetry. And as you can see, with each option, you're going to have numerous illustrations that you can include into your story, into your writing. I'm going to choose picture books for this demonstration, so I'm going to picture books. Once you do that, go ahead and search through the wide varieties of text of illustrations that are available to you. And they also have a button where you can keep going. But I'm just going to choose this one for now. Once you do that by tapping on the actual illustrations. And as you see, your desired illustration is going to appear. You are now in the area for creating your book. You have did the very first step. Click on the Add a Title. Go ahead and write your title. I'm going to name this The Kind Boy. It already, as you can see, it already has my name included on there. By Chantel Moore, that's my username. And it also has my title, and my first illustration is included. If you go down to the very bottom, you're going to see, tap on the 1. When you do this, your first picture, your first page is going to appear. You can also use these buttons here to go back and forth in your book. Select an illustration that you want to use. And right next to your illustration is going to provide you with an area to write. The boy was very happy. Think of a text. You can also take this area to change format. If you change format, you have all these options here to change format. Once you do go down, there's a plus sign. Go ahead and click it and go right back up and continue with your story, with your illustrations. And this is also drag and drop. If you want to just have a page with just illustrations on it, that is fine. You are allowed to do that. Go back down, and we're going to do one more for that purpose. And then go down and write. This is also a great way to help students with learning with writing for punctuation, writing information they've learned. Once you're done, you can hit the save. And that just allows it to be saved so that it will not disappear if you want to go back and work, or you can hit save and exit. Once you hit save and exit, you're going to see an area that says you're not quite finished. It's going to encourage you, Storybird is going to encourage you to add or review story details. You have several options here. You can come back and work on it later. This is wonderful for teachers and students. If you're working on something and you didn't quite get finished, you don't have to publish it right then and there. You can always save it to a draft. You could also do I'm finished, publish my story. If you are finished, you can publicly publish your story. If you choose this, please make sure that you read the comments where it says use review tickets to submit to the public library. Your story will only be visible to you if you want to publish privately. Or you can submit to teachers in my class. If you're doing this and collaborating with other teachers, you can also submit it to the class. I'm just going to do private. Once you select, you're going to be given and you're going to be asked to go ahead and add some more details. Summary, this is optional. I am going to do a summary. This story is about a boy. And then you go to the button where it says publish. Once it's published, and it says up top with a green check, the story The Kind Boy was successfully published privately. As you can see, it's going to show me as the author. It's also going to show the artist, which is the person that did the illustrations for your book. Down bottom, you also have the option to print, to download, or to go back and to edit your book at all times. So that is how you can incorporate actually creating books or text into your instruction and use the computer. You can set it up, and you can actually have students to come and collaborate with you. You can do it as a group, or you can assign it to students also. Another thing that we're going to look at is we're going to be looking at our dashboard, because I think that's very important. So if you go on back to Storybird and go into you, it's going to take you back to your stuff. The first thing that we're going to be focusing on is badges. How can the students get badges? Your challenge badges. Challenges are very important, and it's another element that I'll go ahead and talk into. But you have quizzes. If you go back up here to challenges, next to classes, in between classes and read, you'll see challenge. Go ahead and click on that. It says basic challenges. Become a better writer with writing prompts, lessons, video tutorials, and quizzes. Earn badges and boost your confidence on the page and beyond. This is very wonderful because you can assign these to your classroom directly, or you can also just pull them up and use them in the classroom. You find a challenge that suits what your students are struggling with. Let's just go with the Big Five. So I'm going to click on it. So once I've clicked on the Big Five, as you can see, it's going to tell me what level it is. It's going to tell me what age would be appropriate to use it. If there's any genres, it's going to tell me. And if there's any specific formats, it's going to provide me with that. As you can see up at the very top, it says to the right, it says Big Five, and also says assign to class. You can assign this to your classroom on Storybird, and they can do it as an assignment. It provides you with a small video that you can use. You can allow the students to view the video. And it also has some reading, and this is just going to give you basic information of what the Big Five are. It's also going to provide examples of how this can be used in writing. Once this is done, so students watch the video, and then once it's done, there's also going to be a quiz, and if they get this right based on the amount of answers correct, they also earn badges or points for their classroom that can be used. So it's like a game. So you can do this with your class, or students can do it individually. So that is what we call challenge. Challenges are very important, and I love it. It's a wonderful resource that you can use. We're going to go right back to you, because I love going back to you. So just tap on you. And if you go back to you, we've talked about challenges, recent writing, anything that you've recently done. This is going to be attached, and you can find this in your recent writings. This is very important. Like I've said before, if you as a teacher or as a student, if you want to go back to this is a great way that you can just pull it up. You don't have to search for it. This is connected. When we talk about progress, Storybird actually tracks the progress that students at the class makes on basic challenges, creative challenges, thematic compositions, children's songs, and leveled readers. So as an educator, this is a great way to see what you're focused on with your students and if they're actually getting it. That's also in the Your Stuff area. And if you go on down, you can see recent reads. These are stories that you have selected previously. And so if you read it and you didn't get a chance to finish it, you could always tap on it. And once you tap on the story, you will actually be able to go in it and to start reading. It also has a button right at the bottom that's for sharing. So if you want to include this in Google Classroom, you hit the share button, and it will actually have networks that you can share it with. It'll actually provide you with the link. So if you want to include this in Google Classroom or on a different website, you're able to embed this story and students will have access to it. Another way, and I'm going to go back to the You section, if you want to share work with students and you don't want to use Google Classroom, you could always set up a class with Storybird as an educator. So you just go into classes. I've already created a class. In my class, as you can see, it says reading. So it's going to tell you what your classroom is. And it's going to have all the work that you've assigned to them. You can go into assignments. And when you go into assignments, you can actually add an assignment. All you have to do is go into add assignments, find what grades or what standards your students are working on. Once you did that, select the due date. I'm just going to say like today, and then just hit confirm. If you go back to classes, go back to assignments, what you have will actually be in there. So you can actually see. It also will show you how many students have participated in the challenge. In order to sign up for a class for Storybird, I'll actually show you exactly how to do that. Just go to add a class. And let's just say we're going to say math or writing. Grade level, select your grade level. I'm going to say 3rd grade. And your name. Put your name. Miss M. Moore. And then you choose a date that it's going to end. This is very important. And then hit create a class, and it'll actually create a class for you. But apparently it says only one class can be created during free trial period. Become a member now to create. So you just hit OK. So like I've said before, this is a great example. If you want to be able to create more than one class, or and have access to multiple resources, then I highly encourage you to join and to become a member. If you just like being able to just try it out and you're not really sure if you want to invest in that, then I also encourage you to be a free member, to sign up for the free trial and use it. Storybird, like I've said before, is a wonderful resource. I've enjoyed it. I think it's also a bonus that it can be included in Google Classroom, because that's what a lot of schools are using, and it can also be included in, you can also just create a class with it. So I think that's very important too. And it also allows students to incorporate reading and writing with technology, which I think is very important. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial on how to use storybird.com, and I also encourage you to try it. Thank you.